All right, good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are at. Welcome back to the GSA Super Metroid Any Percent Tournament. This matchup we have here is between Zost or Zoasty, depending on how you know him, and Kipp. It should be a fantastic race. We've got basically two of the top 20 any percent runners in the world. Joining me today is Matrix Ugly. I'm DUIT Moog. And we're happy to be here. How are you doing, Matrix?
I am doing great, Mook. Man, I tell you what, I've just been waiting all day for this. Like you said, these guys are two of the Titans in this game, and it's going to be a real fun match. Just
Yeah, I definitely had to clear my schedule for this one. Sorry, I accidentally hit and talked into mute. Apologize for that, everyone.
so we've got Zoasty, the resident Super Metroid champion. He's been around for several years. He's an old guy, as they say, and you might say Kip's an old guy too. Although he hasn't been around the Super Metroid community quite as long, about a year or two, but definitely made a lot of progress. Has some amazing times in low percent ice, any percent RBO. So yeah, it'll be really exciting.
Yeah,
Just
we've
waiting
got
here.
oh yeah, we're just waiting to get going here. But we've got Kip. His personal best is a 43.51. Basically, that's ties him with Z Music, although Z Music's I believe was on a different route than would run in that. And then Zost is number two on the leaderboard right now, with a 41.19, and it's if you've never watched one of his world record runs, it's a treat. You should definitely put that in your YouTube viewing or Twitch viewing queue and get on that.
So I did have a chance to speak with the runners. They are starting now. Right before the race, I asked Kip kind of what his game strategy was going up against Zosti. He's pulling out all the stops on this one. Basically planning to run new route to the best of his ability. Although I do believe he hasn't pulled out the meme fall yet, moonwalk moonfall strategy yet. As we were talking earlier, he considers it a gateway meme, and it leads to other things. So, but yeah, both runners going to be doing they're going to be running new route. Be dangerous, and wish them both luck.
Yeah, and full new route's a little something different. That if you've watched any of Kip's routes runs earlier in the tournament, he instead of going PR what is PRKD, he's gone PKRD. So he usually goes into Kraid to get that extra protection to go into lower Norfair, but he's going to forego that tonight. See what happens. See if he can knock down one of the kings.
Yep, the runners are both finishing up series here. The PKRD, so that stands for Fantoon, Kraid, Ridley, Dragon. That is a slightly safer route to take. It's about 12 seconds slower than the Fantoon, then Ridley, then Kraid, then Dragon. Kip affectionately refers to the safety route as the Captain Picard route, which interestingly enough, statistically, he is undefeated. So when I asked him why he was going full new route, um, I couldn't quite make any sense given the statistics.
Although I don't know how large the sample size for that is, so the law of large numbers could creep in there.
There's also been a little bit of chatter around Twitch, around the speedrunning community, around Super Metroid, because seems to be the curse of Kipp. Um, If you've caught any of his races, you'll have seen that a lot of his opponents have taken untimely deaths during the run. We don't know if there's something other than raw statistics controlling that, or if there's something more. But you know, if the curse of Kipp is real, that could end up working out in his favor.
All right, so now here we have the runners picking up more fall, which is going to have this little light turn on and basically make the planet come alive. Most of us have already seen this game many times. If you haven't, basically, if you don't pick that up, the game won't start. And here we have Zos picking up the first missiles coming through the construction zone, and Kipp's just a few seconds behind.
Yep, not too much going on here. Just going down, getting this. These are probably the bread and butter items in this game. Morph ball just allows you to do so much, including a trick I like to call the mock ball, because it lets you keep your run speed as a ball when you morph, right when you hit the ground. It's just used all over the place. It's one of the basic fundamentals of running this game.
So it will be interesting. We'll see two different climbs here up this room that Zost is in right now. So Zost doing the wall climb, and Kipp does the platform climb. Both about the same time, just depending on how well you execute it and your comfort level with each.
Yeah, I know Kipp is definitely all about consistency. If there's one thing that sort of flavors the strats he comes up with in his rooms, tends to be he tends to forego the swaggier strats and favoring the consistent ones, only replacing them with quote unquote swag strats if he can really get them consistent and save a bunch of time.
Yeah, which is kind of the reason that Kipp doesn't use Moonfall and some of these things. He just doesn't really like it. It messes with a lot of little things like boss fights throughout the game.
Yep, it's all about the principles for Kipp. So
both runners with very nice BT fights. And I would say where Zoshi just went through the Alcatraz and Kipp's about to get to it, I'd say that's probably the first major speedrunning hurdle of the game. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, Alcatraz is one of the harder tricks to learn. Speaking of just early on in the game, when you start learning how to do these wall jumps combined with the mid-air morphs, it can be a little bit tricky. It's very pleasing to see, though. You'll notice both the runners trying to conserve health. Is a little bit of a difference from the old route. They're going to want as much health as they can get by the time they get to Fantoon, because they will not have any suits for protection, which makes that fight very dangerous, pretty risky. It's a common reset point for all the top tier runners in new route.
Yeah, it definitely is. Fantoon is basically an RNG beast.
Got the runners getting their early supers. First major sequence break as you learn the game. Getting the supers so that we can skip the beloved Spore Spawn mini boss.
I think it's nice that they let Spore Spawn live, an extra 45 minutes or so before the planet explodes.
Maybe that's their way of saving the animals, is leaving the mini bosses alive, like Crocomire and Spore Spawn.
Could be. But so Zost is going to. He's got 2 more ammos to pick up other than beams. You'll notice they run really tight on ammo in this run.
from
Kipp
time to time,
Kipp
you will
about
see.
15 seconds behind, I'd say.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I think I would guess if Kipp runs a 44, he's going to be pretty pleased with himself. You know, when you're in a race setting, going up against one of the world's best at the game, you know, if you can get within 30 seconds to a minute of your PB in this kind of a context where you just can't reset, I would think that's pretty good. And I would guess Zoast would be happy with a high 41, maybe a low 42.
Now, Zos made the red tower here with the rippers, or the room that Kipp is in, look really, really easy. And Kipp doing it as well. I mean, you can see that both of these runners are really skilled, and it's just minor details that separate them. There's just a lot of minor details in the game.
You have a lot of strats that basically just save you about 5 or 10 frames here and there, and they all add up as you go through the run. So, all right, chat, make sure to get your bless RNGs out. We want good luck for the runners as they're about to face Fantoon. He's the most RNG crazy boss in the game, and we want to wish him good luck, good patterns, and mostly stay alive.
Yeah. Another thought process to make Fantoon deliver good patterns is to simply give him compliments. Speak nicely.
Zoasty nailing the CWJ first try. That is a double frame perfect trick. 2 frame perfect jumps, I believe, as you walk through the door. We'll see how Kipp does here. Looks like he missed the first jump. He's going to go for the horizontal bomb jump. Wish him luck here. And very nicely executed.
I mean, those two tricks, like your backup trick for that, I think is almost as hard as the Tiger strat. It's crazy.
Yeah, if not harder, in my opinion.
That could come down to a personal preference probably for everybody, but it's nuts.
All right, so we got Zoasty and Fantoon, Kipp closely behind. Depending on the RNG here, it is possible you might see them sync up here, depending on how they do. Zoasty to get a slow.
Looked like he got an okay Doppler in there. I don't know if it was his best.
And it looks like he knew he didn't get enough missiles the first time, so he did not risk it putting a super in him. What happens if you put a super missile into Fantoon before he is fully drained of HP? It will enrage him, costing the runner probably a good 15 seconds at least.
Looks like Kipp got a 2-round, if I'm not mistaken.
A very nice 2-round, and yeah, he looks like he might be making up a little bit of time. Both runners actually with fantastic Fantoon fights, which really is a relief to see. This is probably the #1 gatekeeper. Causes the most resets in any run, and the most deaths in any race.
All right, now we know Kipp's about to pick up his last pack of super missiles, and we talked about this earlier, but we're just over a quarter way through the run, and other than beams, the runners are going to pick up no additional ammo.
Looks like Kipp is just running about 10 seconds behind here, so I think he did make up some time. So would not be surprised if this is PB pace for him.
I mean, once you get to this level, those guys, I'm never too shocked when they put something together where you don't kind of expect it, just because of the dedication to practicing just small segments and rooms and just hitting the practice room hard.
Yeah, the level of grinding on this game is pretty crazy. Um, it's one of those styles of games that just has so many different mechanics, and there's been so much research and people tearing apart the game to figure out how everything works. Very scary for Kipp. He manages to stay alive. He had 3 hits on the spikes there, but he does manage to stay alive, so that's good.
Yeah, without these suits, those spikes do 60 damage. He came in with 89 damage, which is a great thing. He had good health. He just clipped that. He clipped the ceiling jumping in when normally they usually always clear it and can get it into pretty easily.
So the first major hurdle out of the way, although the run is by no means over. We've got the trip coming up to Lower Norfair next to fight Ridley, and then after that, you've got an almost even more gut-wrenching, uh, heart-pounding escape to get out of there. So, by no means over, and there's a lot of danger left. Who can know what will happen?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there's, I would say one major hurdle where or one supposed major hurdle that just isn't that difficult, and that would be Kraid. Everything else, I mean, Twatoon has hiccups where you can blow it in there and lose all kinds of time. Warfare is just a beast unto its own.
Looks like Zoast has some excellent ammo right now. He's got 10 full supers. Basically, with doing Ridley second, both runners are going to be keeping an eye on their super missile count because you want to get the fastest fight possible, and super missiles do the most damage per second to Ridley. I can't remember, for every super that you miss, you have to I think it's, what is it, 3 charged shots, which can cost you, figure 1 second per shot. So you want as many supers as you can going into Norfair. Kipp in a little worse shape with only 5. We'll see how the RNG is for farming later on.
Yeah, Kipp also a little bit low on power bombs. If you notice, he's made a couple stops to try to farm 1 or 2, and he needs those to get through Lower Norfair.
Yep, and he does have to use 1 power bomb here to break the tube as they come back. After they beat Kraid, then they'll have the tube already broken. Interesting, Zoasty is actually going Kraid second. So I think he knows that he's got a little bit of an edge with skill, and maybe this is just kind of a safe way to just to make sure that he doesn't die and play well, play consistent.
Yeah.
It is a little bit faster to do Kraid third after you've picked up Speed Booster. Evidently can save about 10 to 12 seconds.
All right, so a little route divergence, so we'll kind of get to see. It'll be kind of interesting to see as Kipp now plays Rabbit to Lower Norfair for Zoasty. So you might be able to kind of gauge how good, or see how good that Zoasty's movement is. I mean, him just being one of the 3 people that have run a 41 should tell you that this guy's good. But to me, there's kind of no words to describe it until you see it.
Yeah, I really like the route decisions by both runners here. Kipp knows he's at a significant disadvantage just in terms of skill. Obviously, Zos has been running this game quite a bit longer. Obviously, he's held the world record multiple times. I like it for Kipp knowing that he's got to do whatever he can to take the fastest route possible, and if he's going to have a chance of winning. Now, I like it for Zoasty because he's got his eye on a much bigger prize, and he knows he's got the advantage, and he's really shooting for that grand finale. And I'm sure in that match you'll see him pulling all the stops as well, but. Just to make sure that you play consistently in this match, try to wrap up the W. I like where both runners have made their route decisions here.
All right, now Kipp going through the Rising Tides room here, and not many people consider it that terrible, but I think it's an absolute horrible room, uh, especially in the speed run. But that I'm not very good, so it probably makes a difference. But I think it's one of the worst rooms in the game, just my opinion.
Is that a Bubble Mountain reference?
No, like I just don't like the Rising Tides room right there before.
Yeah, the Rising
I
Tides.
just, yeah, it's just to me it's terrible. My brain doesn't function well in it.
It definitely is very adrenaline-inducing to, especially to new players when you walk out that door and the lava starts coming up on you and you have no idea what's going on.
And even when you know what's going on and you're doing it in the speed run, it's terrifying because you're putting yourself in harm's way right away. Just willy-nilly. Just why not? I'm going to sit in some lava.
Kipp not getting great RNG from those bugs that he farmed after Speed Booster. He does have 8 though, which is, I think most runners would agree that that's a pretty good number to have going into Lower Norfair.
Probably would like one more power bomb if I'm not mistaken about the ammo management here. I know he's going to get 2 from the blue viola ball things, orbs.
Yep,
As he drops down, but
there are power bombs to farm right before Lower Norfair, and you want 4 to go into Lower Norfair. You want 4 to be able to do one of the strats. To do everything optimally. So it looks like he did pick one up here, so I think he'll be in good shape.
the fun thing about New Route is you do get to see the not so intended way into Lower Norfair.
Oh, unfortunately, he missed a spark here, but he will be doing a gravity jump. And this is a pretty cool trick where you start jumping, and as the game is paused, you take off gravity suit. It keeps your momentum value, and then once you unpause, it basically propels you through the lava with a much higher momentum than you originally had. The one unfortunate thing is you're basically doing that lava dive without various suit, so it does cost you a little bit more energy. So hopefully Kipp will have a safe Lower Norfair, won't get hit too badly, which will put him in better shape for Ridley.
Yeah, that Kipp trying the speed spark out of, or the lava spark is new to me.
Oh, and he
must have
did
just
get
added
it.
that recently. Very nice.
Yeah, and I wonder, Mook, that's a good observation. I wonder if he's doing that just again, pulling all the stops, trying to do whatever he can to win. He knows he's at a disadvantage, and he wants to have as good of a race as he possibly can. Do or die time.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a real fun part about this tournament as a whole. Is a lot of the runners are more veteran, so you can tell the differences in their runs. You're familiar with their run style, so you can be like, "Oh, that's out of character," or, "Oh, that's a new trick."
Well, I'm sure the entire Super Metroid community will be ablaze when Kipp finally decides to implement the moonwalk, moonfall strategy into his run.
That
He is
could
at
be a while,
67
friends.
health. Yep, I agree. It could be a little bit, but it'll be an exciting day when it happens. And zoasty coming up to his worst room in the game.
If you notice, Kip did not go for the Kegos there, probably because of his health situation, so very good situational awareness, which I would expect nothing less from runners of this caliber.
Yep, they always know what's going on. Even to the point of, they're always keeping track of their ammo counts. Because they're going to have in mind that it might even be, in Meridia, but they're already considering how many power bombs they need to get through to do all the strats correctly that they want. So Kipp's starting his Ridley fight, landing a few X factors.
Looks like I know Kip will usually go for more. He must not like Ridley's pattern to his health, so he's kind of abandoning the X Factor strategies a little earlier than he normally does.
And depending on how he does, I would guess if he's got about 100 health at the end or more, I'm going to guess he skips the Ridley E-Tank again, just trying to do whatever he can to save time and pick up that health tank later after the Batoon fight.
Yeah, save that 7 seconds and two door transitions. Although the 7 seconds he'll gain back, but so Ridley or Zoasty opening with some X factors.
One place where I've really seen Zo's consistency shine is in these Ridley fights. Before any percent, he was doing a bit of RBO, and it seems as trolly of a boss as Ridley is, he's really found a way to manage his AI and keep that fight relatively consistent. And Kipp is playing it safe here, getting the E-Tank to get out of here safely.
And with some pretty decent ammo too, so that's nice. He'll be able to get out of here without too much trouble, at least ammo-wise. But even with that gravity suit, I mean, everything in Lower Norfolk pretty much does 50 damage, so he can't take a lot of hits.
Zoasty getting trolled here. He could die. He's at 8. Oh, no! No way!
Wow.
Wow. The curse of Kipp is real, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe what I have seen with my own two eyes. He went to Kraid first. He picked up that extra E-Tank. He got trolled by Ridley's AI. I am just I don't have words, Mook.
I think you're flabbergasted is the word.
I don't know what I am, but that probably sounds pretty close. Wow. Wow, and I don't see Zoast starting again. I'm sure Kipp's going to see that. He's probably keeping track of Zoast on the other screen there, and he's going to see that, and I think they're just too far into the run at this point. Wow.
Now we could see Kipp take a couple extra safeties, just in case. Like I think we might see him if he is indeed watching the other stream, which Kipp usually does for 80% races.
Yeah.
he might pick up that extra E tank I bought to him. Just hey, hey, let's let's live.
Yep, Kipp just has to bring it home at this point. Wow, I am stunned. I am stunned. I've been watching Zoasty's channel recently, um, and I've seen him de-rust these any percent runs and just getting right back into it. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. We'll have to catch him after the after the race, but I'm assuming that leaving the game over screen there, he's again just too much time has passed, and that it would be a forfeit unless for some reason Kipp died. Then I'm sure they would start it up again. So at this point, even with the safeties, yeah. So I guess Kipp will be putting back some of the stops in, but hopefully he can just have a consistent end to the run here. We'll see how he goes here.
I mean, he could be really easy. I mean, take it real easy. He could pick up the crate E tank also. Make make ketchup definitely not so dangerous.
Yeah, I think if I am in Kip's position, I've got to just take the run and just bring it home. Man, that is really unfortunate. Uh, really bummed to see Zos die there to Ridley. Curious to see what happened. I'm not sure, but um, you know, Ridley is probably maybe one of the most. He's probably the most hated boss. Other than Fantoon, everyone hates Fantoon, but obviously Ridley second. Everyone hates him. He can just kind of troll you when you least expect it.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you're disappointed and feel bad. I can guarantee that Kip feels the same exact way because I got to feel like most everyone in this community is so supportive of each other. So it's like, hey, this guy beat me. Good job. It's so friendly, competitive, I guess.
Yep, they're definitely buds. Share a love of music, a love of Super Metroid, and you could say that they're both old guys, so they've got that in common.
I know a thing or two about being old on the internet. All right, so Kip coming up here to Bottoon, gonna try to hit this X Factor here, which will do 4 supers worth of damage. It's interesting to note, like different runners have different setups to get that X Factor. Kip uses a music cue. Apparently, the music is in 6/8 time, and you're able to time it out based on like the third beat and then the next third beat or something like that.
That was kind of scary. Kip almost going through the sand pit. It wouldn't have mattered a ton at this point, but he ended up doing his turnaround animation through the sand and almost falling through there. It is kind of interesting what you say there, Mook, because a lot of runners tend to be pretty musically oriented. Um, I know True Moss, who's also another uh, top 25 runner, and he's pretty musically oriented. He comes up with all kinds of strats based on um, musical cues and that kind of a thing. And I know a lot of the music is dearly beloved by many in the community. So that's kind of cool that there is actually ways to play the game faster simply just by listening to your headphones.
I mean, it makes sense though to be able to be. I mean, you're essentially immersing yourself in the game, so you need to use all your. I mean, you need to use all your senses. I mean, obviously, smell and taste are a little bit out of the realm here, but definitely when you use those other three or two. I was going to make a joke about six senses, and then I went and messed it up as well. Good job.
Let's get a GG from Mook in the chat for his jokes. No problem.
Hey, I'm a dad. I can tell bad jokes. It's part of the gig.
This is true. This is true. Only dads can tell bad jokes. Hey, it looks like Kipp getting a really cool spike suit. Um, it's kind of a hard trick to pull off.
I believe also double frame perfect.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy things that somebody who was a little bit out of their mind opened up the machine code, the assembly for this game, and figured out that if you damage yourself and then as a morph ball and then you unmorph at a certain time and activate your spark at a different time, so many frames apart, they're frame perfect, you get this stored shine spark that you can use basically anywhere you want to, which is how anyone ever even found that kind of a thing. I have no idea, but we're all certainly
They
glad
hacked the
it's in there.
Gibson. It's always important to remember to hack the Gibson and hack the plane. I've been watching the movie Hackers entirely too much lately. Everyone, I apologize.
Unfortunately, I missed the reference. I'm probably missing out on a bit of pop culture there, so apologize. I
I wouldn't
couldn't
say
back you up there,
it's
but
B movie greatness.
all right. So, Kip, just going back to the Golden Four room. Um, done with all four of his bosses, and then he'll be heading to Torian, off to finish the game. And obviously, he can play it pretty safe. Get supers and health to make sure he doesn't die in Torian. So,
Yep. Took a couple extra farms there probably, but hey, if you got the time, take it. And I will say that oh no, Kip did go to 20. He did pick up 20. I say if he was running 1510, that is definitely a tight window. All right, so get back in the Terminator room called Terminator because you'll be back. Making short work of the space pirates in this room. All right. And now we wait.
yep, time to bust out the popcorn and get yourself a refreshing malted beverage or a soda pop. Uh, you've got a little bit of a cutscene here to go and grab something to eat, and we'll see the rest of this run shortly. Beverage or a soda pop. And this has been the Golden Forward mission. We thank you got a little bit of a cutscene here to go and grab something
not
to
quite
eat.
enough time to
And
get to the concession stand, but definitely maybe a moment to stretch. So I will say that I think the Metroid rooms, when done super optimally, like a Kipp or a Zos can do, probably are some of the most impressive things to watch. Just all the menuing and whatnot in just such a short period of time, especially rooms 1 and 3.
Yeah, in my opinion, some of the most beautiful rooms, um, especially in an old route setting where you see space jump and these guys are just crazy. But um, yeah,
Some
these
of the
Metroid
most
rooms can be
beautiful
just
rooms.
really beautifully done. It's really a work of art when you see them executed correctly.
Yeah, Kipp's room 3 there was one of those rooms. It was amazing.
Doesn't
Kipp
get the news.
unfortunately grabbed by the baby, yeah.
There is a pretty cool way to skip that. The baby Metroid saves about 30 seconds, and it looks swag as heck.
This game as a whole is pretty heckin' swag, if you ask me, but I'm a little biased.
Kept taking the safety save to basically kind of put the dagger in the coffin there a little bit. All he needs to do now is finish.
Very quick zep skip there. And short work.
All right, Kip, so after you beat Mother Brain, make sure to save the animals, please.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. Yep, I think you probably just wrap up the game at this point, but, you know, gotta make Fusion canon, right? So.
Well, also his just disdain for the animals makes me think that that's not going to happen.
Yep, he is traditionally not an animal saver. Zost, on the other hand, I've seen him. If the context is right, it seems like he'll take a trip there. But so far, Kipp having a pretty good Mother Brain 2 fight. Good charges, not getting hit. Obviously, has had a lot of practice with Mother Brain doing low percent ice when you have to get
Short workout.
200 charge shots basically without going below 300 health. So he's well versed in this fight.
I'm thinking he's on maybe 43 pace. Maybe get a high one. Maybe not. No, but probably 44 pace. I just can't count. Heck of a run regardless.
Yeah, definitely for a race. Pretty respectable pace. I would guess, what, maybe 40, high 44, low 45? My guessing at this point is not as tuned as it probably could.
I'm out of practice. I'm just gonna say I'm out of practice and leave it at that.
This cutscene, arguably one of the longest in the game. If anybody found a way to skip this cutscene or deal damage to Mother Brain during this cutscene for any percent, they might win themselves the Nobel Prize of speedrunning. They can actually do damage to Mother Brain during this part of the fight in categories like 100%. We have a little bit more health, but for now we're just going to be hanging out watching Mother Brain destroy the baby Metroid.
Please try to keep your tears to a minimum.
And a pretty solid Mother Brain 3 phase fight from Kipp as well.
Kept making the escape look easy.
Alright guys, let's get some hype in the chat. Kipp is bringing it home. He's earned the win, you know. Love it or hate it, cursed, not cursed, who knows? Who can decide? But Kipp is going to be in the finals. GG to both the runners. Still, I'm flabbergasted again that Zos died there. Ridley will get more from him after when he jumps in for the post-game commentary. But excellent race, well done, and we certainly wish Kipp the best in the finals. Give us just a sec, and we will work on getting him in for the post-game interview. Be right back.
Spam your golden high jump boots while we wait if you have it.
Hello?
Hey, is this Zoast?
Yeah, what's up?
Zoast, 2 words. Kipp curse. Your thoughts?
I got 3 words. Marvel vs. Capcom. 'Cause that's what Ridley did to me.
That...
I mean, come on. Who invented air combos anyway? BS.
You're gonna have to take that one up with Deer Force. Well, man, that's crazy. I can't believe, you know, I know you even had the extra E-Tank from Kraid. I know
it's a little
kind of
careless. It was a little careless, but it just got out of control, like, near the end. So I, like, realized... I don't know. I realized way too late that I had, like, 76 energy, and I must have got swiped in the air, and then Ridley's AI was trying to grab me, but it came down from the very top. So you didn't know, like, where that tail was going to be in front of the claw, and you knew it was going to be coming down fast, so it was a pretty bad situation at that point.
Yeah, it seemed to me like he didn't pogo as much as he normally does, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's a little bit of a slower pattern, but it's a little bit more consistent to be able to deal with. Do you agree, or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think I think really what's the trouble with the Ridley fight is when he starts switching patterns all the time. Like if he stays on one of them, they're both easy to deal with.
Okay.
And even if it pogos and then swoops, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but when the patterns get to where they're hard to read, there's some situations where they're harder to read. And you can kind of try to avoid that, but sometimes you can't because there's like delays to the swoops sometimes when he's changing patterns, which makes it. That's what's really the killer, I think, is the swoop delays, and then if you do the wrong things, it can get out of hand, and I demonstrated that pretty well.
Yeah, and it kind of